All right, guys, we just wanted to get together and bring on a couple of guests. We got Britney from Texas, Kaleigh, who is upstairs, and we have Rachel Benight, who is in Tulsa. So she is a registered dietitian. She will be speaking on behalf of nutritional information. Kaleigh will be speaking on yoga and meditation, and Britney will be speaking to our CrossFit, our cross-functional people, anybody that just does high intensity working out, and I will touch base a little bit on the strength and conditioning. So with that being said, this topic, this discussion is all about giving yourself a little bit of grace. We want to make sure that during this time that a lot of people have more going on than when we did before, right? More, we have kids at home, we're working from home, we're trying to figure out what that looks like. We're only in what, week 2? The week 2, week 3?
It's all blends together anymore.
So we're just a couple weeks into this thing. We probably have a little bit longer to go just by what people are saying, what the experts are saying. So how do we get into a groove? How do we figure out what the new normal is, at least for the time being? So we have some notes here, and we're just going to start with Rachel.
No pressure.
Yeah.
Just start it.
Yeah, control. What do we have control over in our nutritional aspect? What should we give ourselves grace on?
Yeah, I think this is a really great question, and one I've been addressing with all of my clients. I myself, that first week of being stuck at home, found that my eating routine was totally like thrown out the window. I was waking up later. I was snacking throughout the day. I wasn't eating like regular meals. And I found that my desire to eat out of boredom was definitely increased, or my just desire.
No.
Yeah. Just my desire for more sugar, more processed foods. And I think part of that was lacking routine. And so first of all, I just want to say, I think it's very normal, when your routines are totally thrown off, to fall into that trap of, more mindless snacking and more boredom eating. And the first step is not to make yourself feel guilty and not to just beat yourself up about it, because that's only going to continue the cycle. So the advice that I've been giving my clients and I've been implementing myself is setting routines. So maintaining the same routines that you tried to have before all this happened. You're still eating breakfast, you're still eating lunch, you're still eating dinner, and making sure that you're getting adequate protein and healthy fat at all of those meals. So protein and healthy fat are going to be the macronutrients that help keep us full. They're going to be the macronutrients that help keep cravings at bay. So things like meat, eggs, dairy, nuts and seeds, beans. Help me out. What are some other protein shakes? So those are all great examples of some proteins. But again, I think the biggest thing is that I've found is maintaining those same routines that you've established when it comes to the healthy eating, but then also giving yourself grace and realizing that, this is a season that we're in, meaning it's not going to last forever. And we may not have access to the same types of foods that we had before. So you may need to make something else work that you maybe wouldn't have previously had. Like maybe it's that maybe you're doing more like canned foods, or maybe you're doing like more shelf-stable foods, and that's okay. But just because you're doing more shelf-stable doesn't necessarily mean it has to be unhealthy. You can still make healthy choices. Again, going back to, do I have enough protein? Do I have healthy fat? Am I getting adequate fiber? Fiber, from vegetables, beans, whole grains. Those are going to help keep you satisfied and fuller longer, and also give you nutrients. That if you aren't getting those nutrients, you may have more cravings. And so really trying to focus on the quality of your food, the food that you are eating.
That's a good note. And I feel like one of the things I keep hearing from people, right, are quarantine curves. Everybody's putting on a little extra because folks are doing things. Interestingly enough, people are baking, right? So it's kind of as a stress reliever. And so what's happening is everybody's like, well, I ate 6 muffins because we made 6 muffins. So I think that that's a good note, that you can still kind of try to be cognizant, but also give yourself a little bit of wiggle room, because there's time after this, right? Like there's a life after this. We just don't know what it looks like yet, but.
Well, and my husband and I made homemade chocolate chip cookies 2 nights ago. And I definitely think like there's room for doing that. There's a difference between keeping, like I was talking with my mom and she said that her and my dad literally have 6-gallon ice cream tubs that they've stocked up on.
Could eat them all right away.
Where it's constantly accessible. I mean, if there's a gallon of ice cream in my freezer, you can guarantee it that I'm going to be eating it.
Right.
Whereas if I make some cookies, once the cookies are gone, they're gone, you know? So
eat them all fast is what you're saying.
Exactly.
Will you be putting out a cookbook for spam? Is the question.
Oh gosh.
The apocalyptic cookbook. It's just like beans and spam. Rachel Benight's apocalyptic cookbook.
Interesting ways to cook spam. Yeah, so right, just give your do what you can. I think it's the same across. It's going to look the same across working out, nutrition, and meditation, and schooling your kids, and like some of this stuff we're not experts in, right? Like, and we have limited resource. Like, I can't train people anymore, you know, like via the Oklahoma school board rules, via my gym being closed. So what does that look like for people that aren't used to online training? We have tons of satellite clients, but we're making it work, right? So just keeping it going. Kaleigh?
Yeah.
What does somebody that doesn't do yoga, somebody that's never done yoga before, that's now following our YouTube page because they don't have any equipment, right?
Because they're bored. Sure. Yeah. I'll take it.
So many push-ups and squats and sit-ups, and they want to change it up, right? Like what?
Right.
Besides the physical aspect, what are we doing there?
Yeah, I think yoga is one of those things that does have a lovely physical component, right? People enjoy doing it as a form of exercise. And so that's a benefit for people who are adjusting to a new pace of life and want to get some movement in. But more importantly, one of the things that I have gained from yoga, in my experience with yoga, is that, you know, when you are new to a practice, you're not automatically great at it, right? And it's the same as anything else, but with other forms of exercise, you typically, you know, you have a time cap, you have a rep scheme, you have a goal that you are working to accomplish. So you start doing the task and you're running through it, and then when you're done, you're done. Yoga is a little bit different in that the focus is not necessarily on completing you know, a set of workout or whatever. The focus is actually on sitting into a posture. And I think one of the great things people can take from that, and I say this in my classes, so you've probably heard it if you've attended or watched any of those, but that you have to get comfortable being uncomfortable. Again, as we're developing our strength, as we develop our balance, as we develop our comfort level with the postures, especially ones that are, you know, hip openers or things that are a little more uncomfortable, we have to focus on, you know, our breathing. We have to focus on relaxing, and we have to focus on the fact that we are uncomfortable for just a brief moment in time, but we will survive it. And I think that that's a message that carries across for the larger population as a whole, is that all of us are kind of uncomfortable right now. There's a lot of anxiety. A lot of us are grieving activities or life events, or even just seeing other people in a way that we haven't done before. And, you know, with that comes a lot of anxiety. So trying to find that, you know, sense of comfort in this time is really what I think yoga can bring to the table. That's
All right, so we lost our gym, Britt. Lots of people lost their gym, right?
Yeah.
I think everybody's lost their gym for the most part. So we don't have a barbell. We might not have dumbbells. If you're a CrossFit athlete, is it a good time to? What can we focus on right now? Right, like.
Yeah. everybody is going through it. I mean, just like Rachel and Kaleigh said, like it's an adjustment. We're going to have to get used to a little bit different routine. But I think just like Rachel was talking about, it's really important to create routine right now, especially, I mean, with our circumstances, it's not always easy to wake up and work out, but doing that, even if you don't want to right now, I think it is really, really healthy to just move, even if it is yoga, if it is one of our videos that we're posting on YouTube, if it's our sugar WOD workout, whatever it is, just moving, I think in this time is really important. And even though we don't have a lot of equipment, we are managing with what we have. And you can do so many push-ups and sit-ups and squats and so many body weight movements, and it might get boring, but it works. This is a really good time to focus on having fun. Like with workout, I mean, grab your kids, do the games that Daniel's made, do something different. I mean, we've done running, and it's, you know, I think it, especially for me, it makes me really, really thankful for what we do have when we get back to the gym.
Right.
But it's been really fun to kind of change that up, and having that mindset, I think, makes it a little bit easier for me. And especially being interactive on Sugar WOD, I feel not so distant from all my athletes. I feel like I'm working out alongside them, even though I'm in Texas. But yeah, it's different, but I think it's a really good perspective change. So
Yeah.
I would also like to add something to that. I don't know if anybody watching this will be able to relate to this, but I know for me, because I do CrossFit, and then I started recently doing Olympic weightlifting with Kaleigh, or that she's been coaching me, and she knows this about me, that I really struggle with like going, like not resting enough, and not, you know, that constant drive to be in the gym, and constant drive to kill myself in the gym. And I've realized, because the gym is closed, how much just like better I feel, like my recovery and like my anxiety levels, because I'm not like in this constant like battle with myself of, oh, I need to get to the gym, but I really don't want to, but I need to do it because everyone else is there. And so also allowing this time to really like prioritize, I mean, you're able to really prioritize recovery right now. And then also like kind of checking, at least for me, checking my values as to what is my motivation in doing, like trying to kill myself in the gym every day. Like it's only bringing stress and anxiety on me. And so when I do go back in the gym, my mindset is hopefully in a better place of, okay, I can maybe do a workout from home once a week, and that's okay. Like I didn't fail. Like I'm still getting a great workout in. So just another thought I had.
Right. I think that's a great point about not letting it be like making exercise something that is stress relief and not another stressor.
Right. Yeah. Move your body because you love your body, not because you hate it. It's a really good time to work on the relationship with working out, because like you said, so many people do it because it's a priority, which, you know, for most of us it is, and it's fun, but a lot of people just kill themselves because they feel like they have to get in, because they have to kill themselves in the gym every day. So working on that relationship, what is your motivation behind working out? Why do you love it? All of those things, it's really easy to focus on that right now too.
Yeah, I think that's spot on. Like, that's a nervous tick, by the way. I'm not actually sick, but just everybody's on the same page here. But that has actually gotten better. I was talking with my coach, you know, every 30 minutes I'm scheduled, like throughout the day, whether it's class times or going to the gym, or, you know, our classes at the gym are every hour. So from 5 a.m. to 8 p.m., Monday through Friday, like it's go, go, go. And so getting to do gymnastics work now, which I haven't done in like 3 years, right? Because I have to do part of my workout at the garage, or for my athletes at the school, you know, they go from sport to sport to sport to sport. Now they have a built-in rest period. So kids with groin injuries or Achilles injuries or aching low backs, that all goes away right now, right? They have a mandated rest time that they have to go back to the basics. We're doing plyometrics. We're doing core workouts, like things that they did in the 30s and 40s and 50s. Like not every athlete weight trained. Like strength conditioning wasn't a huge field until recently, right? Like it's only grown in popularity. So going back to the basics, just sprinting outside when it's nice, when it's not nice, taking a rest day, or doing calisthenics, or doing something else active, right? Like
like experimenting. What's fun?
Learning that we actually do, most of us are not professional athletes, so we work out to stay healthy and feel good and look good and be confident, and it's getting back to that and not just because we're supposed to, right? Because we have this training cycle that we have to go through. So I do think coming out of this, we might learn to have a little bit more fun, right? Like, it puts a lot of things in perspective, not just exercise and nutrition, but just life in general. Getting to focus more time with the people you love and the things you care about, and letting everything else just kind of slip away. It's not as important right now, right? Like we don't have to worry about it so much.
But I think you made a good point the other day. You and I were talking about, human bodies are made to move. So I think making sure to find some form of movement that you're doing, because we're like cars, right? So, and you might tell the analogy better, but cars are meant to drive. They're built to drive, and if you don't drive them, they fall apart. Huh?
Old cars are meant to drive.
Yeah, I mean, well, but they're built to move, right? And it's the same thing. If you let them sit too long, you don't drive them, they fall apart. And I think our bodies are the same way. So making sure that we are, at least if you're not, if you're just rolling out of bed and stretching, or if you're going for walks with your family, or you're doing something, make sure you pencil that in, especially folks who are working from home. I think I've noticed, as I have my setup here in my upstairs office, it's easy to park and not get up, not remember to stop for water, not remember to stop to eat. So I think scheduling those breaks in, making sure that they're part of that routine. If you're not going to sit down and actually train, but at least get up from your home desk, I think it's critical.
Yeah. So I just want to go.
There you go, Brittany. Exactly. Just like that. Just get up and move. Take work with you.
We'll go around, and I'll start, and we'll just say a couple of pointers, some big pointers, right?
Sure.
3 or 4 things that we think that our people need to be doing, right? The people watching this, anybody that wants to watch it, what are our tips? As far as I'm concerned, for my athletes, do plyometrics, do core workouts, sprint when you can, if it doesn't fit into your schedule, like, school comes first, you guys still need to learn, but when you can get out, just remember the basics of being athletic, mobility, flexibility, speed, agility, conditioning. Get all those in whatever form it may look like. And if you can't touch a bar or a weight, like, we'll be all right. Like, we'll get back to it when we can. But for now, do what you can, put that extra 2% in, and don't worry about it, Yeah. So nutrition wise, what's
my top
couple things.
Couple tips would be, like I mentioned earlier, establishing a routine. So breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, but making sure that you are like maximizing that meal. So rather than thinking, oh, I'm in quarantine, so I need to like restrict, I'm not working out as much, I need to restrict. That's only going to lead to more desire to binge later. So maintain the same, same type of eating, protein in every meal, healthy fat, and then making sure you're really filling up your plate with lots of fiber. Fiber is going to help keep you fuller longer, and hopefully ward off some of the cravings later. But let's say you do want something sweet, or you do have something that you're, that's off limits. The more that you tell yourself no, and the more that you just try to willpower away, the more you're going to want it. And then when you do have it, you're going to binge. So, I mean, that's what I find in my own life and in every client that I work with. Yeah. So rather than maybe rather than keeping a bunch of junk food around your house, that's just like so easy to, access, keep maybe some stuff where you can make homemade, like if you want to make homemade cookies, it's at least you have to make the conscious decision. Okay, I'm making this, I'm going to have it, versus just mindlessly eating the Chips Ahoy or Oreos or whatever it is. Mm-hmm. So I would say those with routine, and then also making sure that you're getting adequate protein, healthy fat, fiber at your meals.
Yeah. Kaleigh?
I would say my big tip for people who are either doing yoga or have already done yoga or are joining us for yoga would be giving yourself the space that you need to cope I think yoga is a good way to do that just because it's built-in quiet time. But if not through yoga, through meditation, through, a few minutes before bed, just quiet time, turning off screens, focusing on being in the moment that you are in. Again, this is a chapter. This will end. We will establish a new form of normal after all of this. But right now, this is normal. And so being able to sit in the moment and say, okay, how am I today? Checking in with ourselves. And then kind of establishing a sense of peace before we go on to the new tasks that we have if we're homeschooling, if we're working from home. Just approaching it with a more centered point of view.
Britt, for CrossFit athletes?
Yeah, sorry, I've been moving around. My Wi-Fi is not great. But I, like everyone else has said, just routine is going to be really important. Love your body through this time. If you're not moving like normal, if you're not able to work out like normal, just have fun with it. Work out with your kids. I know I've really, really enjoyed working out with like my family while I've been here. Look at it as, a fun way to relieve stress. Don't look at it as such a negative thing like we usually do. Just try to change your perspective and your healthy relationship with it during this time, because I know it's easy to do the exact opposite. So
yeah. So and then what happens if we fail and don't get it in? Like, there's always tomorrow.
There's always tomorrow.
There's a new day.
And there's always, do the challenges, like have fun. That's why we're doing those things, because we're trying to find the silver lining in all of this stuff and having that positive mindset.
Right.
One thing an analogy I really like to give oftentimes, because I think we oftentimes have this all or nothing mentality. It's like we either go 100% or we don't do anything at all. Yeah. We eat 100% healthy or we eat crap all the time. So I like to think about our health as like a bank account. So we can make deposits into our bank account and grow that bank account so we can make healthy decisions. We're also going to probably make withdrawals as well. But just because we make one withdrawal doesn't mean we need to go bankrupt. We can continue to make deposits. And so rather than seeing it as this all or nothing, see it as the balance and the sum of our decisions.
Yeah.
That's good. I like that. All right, guys. Well, our time is expiring here. So thank you, everybody, for taking a little bit of time. If you're watching this and you want to follow along with some of the stuff we've talked about, our YouTube channel is Team Pure Health, or you can follow us on Instagram at Pure Health Performance, or on Facebook. For Rachel, your website is
nourishedbyrachel.com. It's under construction right now, though, so I just check out my Instagram, Nourished by Rachel.
Nourished by Rachel on Instagram. If you have any comments, concerns, questions, you can type them below. Make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, and we'll see you guys later. Bye, guys. Thanks for joining. I don't actually know how to stop this.
I know. I'm like trying to figure out how to turn off my recording here. This is good. Bloopers.
This will definitely be in bloopers though, so it'll be really funny.
There we go.
Oh, here we go. I found it.